guys, we are back. This is Beat The Line Broadcast, episode 49, UFC Vegas 99. I'm your host, Picks by Pegasus. I'm here with JV, Key 3 Picks. We spoke, not too long ago. What did I just do here? We spoke not too long ago about the last week of Dana White Contender Series. That I broke my 8-week streak profit broke there. I actually lost a unit and a quarter on this card, as it always goes with Dana White Contender Series. But now we're here with another Apex fight card. We'll get right into it here. First fight is Robelis Despaigne versus Austin Lane. I'm going to pull those pictures up right now. Okay. And then, Robelis versus Austin Lane. Robelis Despaigne is 5-1, 36, 6'7" with an 84-inch reach. Austin Lane is 12-5, 36, 6'6", 80-inch reach. Line on these two gentlemen, you can get Robelis anywhere from -400 to -355. You can get Austin Lane anywhere from +300 to +320. I mean, we know the holes in the games of Despaigne are the takedowns. Is Austin Lane just going to form tackle him, take him down like he did against Deniz and gas out? Or do we think, Austin Lane's chin's gone and Despaigne just knocks him out early? Key, what do you think here?
Yeah, I assume, I believe Robelis is at ATT now. Been putting in the work. For your ground game to be that bad from what we saw against Waldo, that's just insane shit. Austin Lane looked good in that round one against Deniz, and was able to get the takedown and look like Craig Jones for a second, and then magically death gas. That was an insane death gas. Rarely do you see shit like that. He could barely keep walking. That was just insane. So he gave Deniz the KO there. Austin Lane is a punching bag. A lot of his losses, or I believe all his losses, are knockout losses.
Yeah.
I have to assume that Robelis is gonna nuke him. But I will say it will be pretty fun. I'm not playing any Robelis on books at -4, -3. That's insane prices for a guy that I know that if Austin Lane does get on top, Austin Lane is going to look like a big favorite for those few minutes that he is on top. So for me personally, I think if Robelis defends just one takedown, Austin probably stops shooting and gets knocked out from there. That's how I see the fight going. But on books right now, this is a pass for me.
Draw, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, not much to say here. Austin Lane doesn't have a good chin. We know that. He's been KO'd 5 times already at heavyweight. It's heavyweight. Anything can happen, though. He does it hard to his credit. He finished all of his fights, and he has the wrestling upside for sure. But we just seen him, like he said, gassed out after a round after trying to wrestle. So the only thing I'll say is I wouldn't touch the under 1.5 just because of that. It's -300, and I played the under 1.5 when he fought Deniz. When Lane fought Deniz, it was -250, -275, something like that. And bro, I was seconds away from losing the bet, just because if Lane get on top in round 1, it might be the round. And then in round 2, Despaigne, I don't think his cardio is terrible because he was still swinging in round 3 against Waldo. But Waldo has a good chin and he has good cardio himself. So it's but Waldo's not really a good grappler. He's normally the one getting grappled. So it's interesting. And Lane's a physical dude. He's a big dude. So I think he could land a blast double leg. But then what? Is he going to finish? I don't really think so. And on the feet, Despaigne, the way he strike, the power, the speed, Lane has a bad chin. So it just seems like he's going to knock him out in the first round. But it seems really square. It's this type of fight where Despaigne the same thing that happened against Deniz could happen here, Lane get on top round 1, Despaigne can get back up and then win round 2. Lane's gas out and he gets knocked out again. It could happen because you can wrestle for 15 minutes and Despaigne still carries power late. So people are going to play Despaigne. People are going to play the under 1.5 and Despaigne round 1 and Despaigne KO, and maybe you got a KO 2 here. So I don't know. If I had to play anything, which I'm not going to, I would play Despaigne round 2 KO personally. That's how I would attack the fight. But I'm not going to play this shit.
Yeah, when I was looking at this, my initial look was the under 1.5. I thought minus 300 wasn't horrible here. Going back in the tapes and watching Austin Lane actually try and grapple for a little bit and seeing how bad Despaigne's takedown defense was kind of scared me off of that. I mean, I think this is one of those fights that honestly you just pass and hopefully get a highlight reel and it opens up the card real nice. I don't really think you should rush to the cash counter to be betting any prices here. If you want, I would play Despaigne KO or Despaigne inside the distance. I think he wins at some point, kind of like Drav said. Just a matter of when. I don't know. Obviously, first round seems pretty square, but he could easily win in round 2, round 3 if he's getting out grappled for that full time. Because obviously we've seen once he gets down, the guy can't get back up. Austin Lane is a past NFL player. He's a better athlete than Waldo Acosta is, I assume. So maybe we see him tackle him and lay on top of him. But like Drav said, I don't think he wrestles for 15 minutes. So
yeah,
I think.
Can I interest you in a Despaigne inside a distance at minus 400 when the money line's minus 355?
Exactly. So that's what I got for you.
And I just checked. I mean,
what's KO?
KO is minus 375. It's because money.
How are those bigger than his money line?
No, that's because people are playing Lane. Lane was plus 350 yesterday or 2 days ago. And now he's plus 280. That's why
they have an
adjustment. That's why it's like that. But anyways, I wouldn't play KO 2. By the way, it's like the same price as round 2. I would just go round 2 plus 450 if I had to bet anything for Despaigne.
All right, cool. Next fight we have is Alice Ardelean or Ardelean, that's Key's girl, versus Melissa Supermelli Martinez. Her brother is David Martinez, who just fought last week on Contender Series and looked great. Alice Ardelean, 9-6. She is 32, 5'3", the 62-inch reach. Melissa Martinez is 27, 5'2", 64-inch reach. Right now, the odds on these two ladies, Martinez is anywhere from minus 118 to minus 135. Ardelean is anywhere from plus 105 to plus 120. Low-level girls MMA. Key, take us away.
Yeah. Here, this is just the weirdest fight ever. Alice Ardelean probably shouldn't be here. I bet her big plus money. I believe it was plus 250 or some crazy shit against Shauna Bannon. And I take plus 250 with my girlfriend over Shauna Bannon. So I'm not mad about losing that bet in a split decision. Alice has real pop, aggressive girl. I don't think that her grappling is actually legit or good in any way. I think that she's just physical and bigger than a lot of these girls. And that would be the case in this matchup. I do know that Alice has moved to Fusion XL for this camp, which I'm not saying that Fusion XL is a great camp, but it does show that she's actually dedicated to actually being a decent UFC fighter. She took that last fight on short notice and had a hard time making weight. So I expect for her to make weight pretty easily here and probably come in with a little bit better cardio. I think that she's just super low IQ. Times where she should be countering, she's just taking shots. I thought that the Bannon fight was a very winnable fight, and she just made bad decisions. On the Martinez side, I mean, what the fuck are we doing here? I'm unsure why it's been a 2-year layoff. I have to assume injuries. But even before her UFC career, I mean, we're talking about Combate Global fights, and their women's scene is just not good. Just being completely honest. Their women's scene is trash. So she's beating up on girls in Combate Global and getting some decent matchmaking, and then comes to UFC and loses to Elise Reed and gets dropped by Elise Reed in round 1. I have to assume that Martinez is going to have the better movement. She's going to be the faster girl. She's going to throw more volume. But does Ardelean clip her with anything? Does Ardelean cage push? Does Ardelean land on top off of some stupid exchange? Those are all things that are very possible to me. So this is a fight that what's the current line right now?
It's the line's about to
plus 115 Ardelean, minus 110 Martinez.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's close to right. I think that slight fave just because Martinez does have the better process and the better skills here. There's actually minus 118 right now, but okay, yeah. I think that Martinez makes sense as the slight favorite. Ardelean is going to be aggressive. I wonder because on the regional, she was just letting her nuts hang, just banging in a lot of fights. And so I do wonder what her approach is going to be here. I wonder if they're going with the grappling heavy approach. I wonder what's the game plan. It's not like Fusion XL is known for great game plans if you watch some of their fighters. So I'm just interested to see. This is a fight for me. 2-year layoff. You're talking Martinez hasn't won a fight in like 4 or 5 years. Ardelean shouldn't be here. I mean, this is as lowest of a level it can get in the UFC for women's MMA. And I'm willing to say that this fight is nasty work. So it's a pass for me.
All right, Drav, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think I know why Ardelean's here. If you just have a look on her Instagram, I think there's some reason she's here.
Great reason.
It's not maybe not because of the fighting, but I think there's some other reason. You can have a look on her Instagram. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, I mean, I text Key about it. I like pre-tape. I was like, Martinez, she looks like the side here, but I didn't tape anything. He's like, she has not won a fight in 5 years. I'm like, what? So I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, 2 years layoff. I've not won a fight in 5 years. And I mean, she got taken down 3 times against Elise Reed. Yeah, she got dropped, but I mean, who Elise Reed's having grappling success against in the UFC? No one. She's terrible on the ground. So she went 3 for 3 on takedowns and she got a knockdown. So it's like, fuck that, And then Ardelean, I kind of expect that she's gonna look better than her UFC debut, and I think she's bigger here. She does hits kind of hard, and she has some red top time upside, I believe. So I understand why the line kind of dropped. She was around plus 130 2 days ago. So yeah, I have to assume she's the side, but now the line's getting closer to a pick'em, which seems kind of accurate because I do believe Martinez is the better striker and she's more technical. But with the layoff and everything, I don't know, man. I kind of think that Ardelean's gonna get it done, but I'm not confident. I'm just gonna enjoy the fight and with my eyes, not my money.
Yeah, I think Martinez. I'll take Martinez here. I didn't do too much of tape dive into either, just because, like they said, she hasn't fought in 3 years. Her last fight was Elise Reed, where she just got top timed. I gotta assume between going to that PI and the she was at the PI, and then there was something else I saw. It was where was Super Melly the camp before this one?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go back and look at it. But either way, I think she's taking this time off to actually get dialed and get her shit together. I think we see a better fighter here. I mean, Ardelean, like we said, she's only here because she has I think 1 million followers on TikTok, 500,000 on Instagram or something like that. So they really only got her here and signed her on short notice because she has a big following like that. They like to do that. It's kind of like Lazy Boy on the Mexican card, where it's just like they just want him because he's got a huge following. He's gonna get better over time and actually look good. He put on a banger of a fight against Ode. But yeah, I'm gonna take Martinez here if I have to take a pick under my head. Next fight, another girls fight. We're gonna work you overtime, Key. It's
talking about the GOAT.
Oh yeah. So this one is a good one. This one is me and Key's favorite fighter. It's Jessica Penne versus Elise Reed. Jessica Penne is 41, 14-7, 5'5" with a 67-inch reach. Elise Reed is 7-4, 31, 5'3" with a 63-inch reach. Odds on these, ladies, Elise Reed's anywhere from minus 175 to minus 160. You can get Jessica Penne anywhere from plus 145 to plus 150. Key, do you think?
Yeah, this is the 3 women's fights on this card, this is as low level as it can get. Like, this is the worst. It's very rare that I'm not excited for 3 women's fights on a UFC card, and this is the rare time because this is just dog shit. Elise Reed, probably one of the funniest fighters of all time. I mean, getting knockdowns and instead of following up on punches, points to the commentary booth, talks a little shit, and then proceeds to not get a finish. Elise Reed also like insane talking in the corner. It seems like her coaching is just all out of whack. Jessica Penne, I think she found out what a leg kick was just last fight against Tabitha Ricci. Absolutely ate her up. I think that Elise makes horrible decisions. Probably one of the lowest IQ fighters. And I will say that the Loopy fight was really, really crazy. Like for her to get steamrolled like that, I kind of wonder what was going on because that's just she's bad, but not that bad. I don't have anything to say that Elise Reed is super impressive. The way that she strikes is low volume. She's looking for one shot, and she can thump a little bit, but it's not like she has a shit ton of process and is constantly throwing out volume, which I feel like at 115 in women's MMA, you have to be throwing out volume. Jessica Penne is, I believe, like 41 at this point, 41 years old, and she's not getting any better. I think that her best opportunity here is to pull guard and force Elise Reed into some nasty grappling situations because Penne does have the upper hand on grappling, and Reed makes horrible decisions grappling. So honestly, if I'm Jessica Penne, this is the one time I would advise a fighter to come out, and if you do not get the first takedown, drop for a leg lock, drop for pull guard, and figure out what happens from there. You just have to force a grappling exchange, and something will find itself versus Elise Reed. The sub props is kind of nasty on the Penne side, price-wise. I don't think that there's a way that Penne wins the decision, but at the same time, Elise Reed will hurt somebody and just move around the octagon like nothing ever happened. Like, Elise Reed can't be trusted at these odds. So just for that reason alone, and sadly, the other side is an old lady. So I want to fade the old woman, but at the same time, it's Elise Reed. So again, I'm sad to say on another low levels women's MMA fight, but it's a pass for me.
So I'm going to be honest. I like Elise Reed here. Jessica Penne, oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of Jinyu Fry. I have the whole completely wrong fighter I'm thinking of here. Some other old bitch. But yeah, Elise Reed. I'm with her here. I think Jessica Penne is kind of grapple or bust, sub or bust here. Elise Reed's going to have the better striking. She's the younger girl by 10 years. I think she's kind of at this point, the UFC trying to give her a push. You look at her last few fights. She lost to Loopy. Jinyu Frey is who she beat. I think that's who I had plus 3.5 on. So she's gotten a few fights in. Jessica Penne is just losing to people at this rate. Don't get me wrong. Ricci and Ducote, not horrible losses as of recently, but it's kind of like you're 41 years old. Like, I don't get where they're going with this. I'm normally one of those people that says, girls, women MMA, I don't mind girls up to like 39 years old-ish, just because I feel like girls can have a better process and actually maintain their age longer than men can when it comes to this sport, just because they don't take as much damage. But yeah, I don't know. I think between like the burst of speed, the hand speed, the footwork, I think Elise Reed will be way better than Jessica Penne. Jessica Penne's wrestling isn't great either. If you watch her tape, she's got good jiu-jitsu, and Dominic Cruz will choke on that shit all you want. But if she can't get it there, it doesn't fucking matter. And I don't think Elise Reed, based off age and physicality, I don't even think that's much of a worry here. I guess so. Minus 160. I don't hate that price, but like I said, if I'm picking a side, it's going to be Elise Reed. I don't have a bet on it yet. Line gets a little closer. Money comes in. Different story. I think anywhere minus 150 and below, Elise Reed's the side. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, I'm not going to waste the people time here. Nothing much to say. I don't think you should be betting this fight. If you do, best of luck, but I don't know. If you bet this, you're betting either Elise Reed at minus 175 and you're just asking for trouble, or you're betting 41 years old Jessica Penne. Yeah, it's not.
And you should call the hotline if you're betting.
If I had to make a pick, though, I think Elise Reed's gonna win. She's 10 years younger. She's a better striker. But yeah, her grappling is 0, and Penne does have some sneaky grappling upside. But I don't rate her wrestling like you said. So yeah, I think Reed's gonna win, but not much to add. Not much to add on this one.
All right, another girl fight. We're about to have an hour plus of TV time of just bad girl fights back to back to back. This is like one of those things like you gotta set your timer and figure out when to order food and then walk to pick it up, because if you drive, you may be back in time to catch the end of this Jocelyn Edwards Vidal fight. Jocelyn Edwards, she's 13-6. She's 29. She's 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. She's at King's MMA. Tamiris Vidal is 7-3, 26, 5'6", 68. Team Brothers, whatever that means. Odds for these two ladies. Edwards, you never thought you'd hear this. Jocelyn Edwards is minus 250 to minus 260. Vidal is anywhere from plus 210 to plus 200. Key, I'm going to give it to Draw first this time, and then I'll let you go, just because I feel like we've just been hammering you. We even gave you the first guy fight. So, Draw, Edwards, Vidal, got to be Edwards here at big minus odds, right?
Yeah, it's actually one of these spots that I'm going to advise that you can play Edwards even at the price. I think she's safe for parlays. I don't think Vidal should be in the UFC. I think she's trash. I don't think she's good. I mean, she got a meme KO in her debut. Props to her for that. And then she almost got KO'd via boob shots twice. I mean, the girl's weak to the boobs. So I have to imagine that Edwards going to go out there and try to, punch her boobs and maybe get a TKO that way. But I mean, every time Edwards has lost in the UFC, that's because she's getting grappled or she's getting taken down. But to her credit, she made a lot of improvements in this department in her game. And I mean, Vidal wrestling is not good. If she try to take her down, she's not going to have success. But on the other hand which is kind of funny because Edwards has, I think, all the wrestling and the grappling upside here, which is normally not the case against her opponents. And she's the much better striker. I think she'll land more volume. She has better cardio. She's more technical. And I give her the finishing upside as well. I don't think Vidal's going to finish her. I'll just say that I think Vidal leg kicks are nice, but she has okay power. But that's about it, Edwards, she's kind of, better everywhere to me. Fought the better girls, better cardio, wrestling, grappling upside, kind of some finishing upside.
Vidal was the pro soccer player, right? At one point.
I don't care.
In the past, she was a pro soccer.
I mean, player. she should go back to soccer, to be honest, because MMA is not for her. So yeah, Edwards, even minus 250 range, I think she's good parlay piece. And you're not gonna hear me say that often, but yeah, I think she's gonna win and probably win a dominant decision. I think Vidal Pat is like a random close 29-28 kind of robbery decision, but I think Edwards can have some big favorite upside with the grappling. She's the way better striker and she'll land more and she's bigger too. So yeah, and she's been training with Valentina for what it's worth. She's been putting the work in.
Key, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Edwards will always hold a special place in my heart. I think it's still up on my Twitter. Like whenever I first started capping MMA, and was posting slips for prize picks. At the time, that was my biggest bet ever, but it was a $500 bet. And I was pretty new to gambling, but I had gotten a $500 bet on Jocelyn Edwards, which sounds crazy to say out loud, but a $500 bet on Jocelyn Edwards and Amanda Nunes. And that was a crazy cash. And so I always will hold a little bit of special place for Jocelyn Edwards, but she is absolute ass. I will say, though, Vidal is maybe pound for pound like one of the worst fighters like ever to grace the UFC octagon. Like boob shot TKO is insane. Like that is one of the funniest outcomes ever. And the fact that like they were holding ice on the boob after, like the scenes were insane. Like this was crazy shit. And if she acted like she got fouled, like it was, yeah. Yeah, her losing a monster at Rendon, that tells you everything you need to know. I do think give Ramona Pasquale the rematch, and she probably maybe ekes out a decision in that fight. Vidal has no process, leg kicks, swinging wild hooks and overhands. I'm unsure if she knows what a jab is. She'll drop for heel hooks. She'll do all sorts of crazy shit. The soccer background makes no sense because soccer players are usually in shape. Vidal is not in shape ever. Jocelyn Edwards should be able to get the win here. it's nasty work. I feel to parlay Edwards, but at the
It
same
is.
time,
It is. I deserve to lose it, but where is Vidal? Okay. Where is Vidal better than Edwards at
yeah,
MMA?
exactly. So it's like how does she lose outside of like insane meme outcome? So
Yeah.
like for that
At
reason
minus
alone,
250, minus 240, I'm willing to go. If she
yeah.
gets meme, be it. But I don't even think she's been finished in the UFC, and she fought much better girls.
No,
So
yeah, exactly. She's fought much better competition. She's dealt with the amazing spinning back fist of Aileen Perez. I mean, she's seen real wars before, so this should be nothing here. I probably will end up parlaying her. It's just I'm not sure what I'll parlay her with. Maybe some off of UFC 308, but we'll see. I feel like this is a pretty easy spot. I don't think that she finishes because Jocelyn has absolutely no killer instinct or like understanding of how to finish, but she should win a very, very easy decision here. Vidal would probably be ready to quit in round 3. Maybe one of those props would be cool, but yeah, this Edwards spot.
Yeah, you guys really broke it down perfectly. So I'm not going to waste anyone's time. I'm looking to play Edwards as well. I've been trying to put together and craft parlays all day with her in it.
with Despaigne, with under
with
when you have
Despaigne, with the
Despaigne.
under of Despaigne, with Charles Johnson, which I still maybe. And then I was honestly worst case scenario. I'm just going to double down with Kyler Phillips. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes because I think Kyler Phillips is good till minus 1,500, but that's besides the point. Let's go to the next fight. Now this is where the card heats up. So you're back, you got your food, you sit down on the couch, and now you're locked in for the night because you're going to watch Brad Katona grapple his way and beat Gene Matsumoto. Brad Katona is 14-3. He's 32-5-6 with a 64-inch reach. Gene Matsumoto is 15-0, 25-5-6, 68.5-inch reach. Odds in these two gentlemen: Gene Matsumoto, big favorite, anywhere from minus 250 to minus 275. Brad Katona is anywhere from plus 200 to plus 225. Drav, I'm going to have you go first. Brad Katona, the people's champ, versus Gene Matsumoto. Gene's not going to find a finish here. You can't finish a guy like Brad. So how does Gene win this fight?
I mean, don't mush it. I mean, it's probably not going to finish, but I think he does have some like guillotine upside, which would surprise me. But he's very crafty with the guillotine. He got multiple guillotine on his resume, and he's a good finisher in round 2-3. He's a very good striker. I think he's a better striker here. If anyone has finishing upside here, Matsumoto has some finishing upside, but I don't think it's likely. Katona is like stupid durable. He's never been finished. But Katona also can finish his food, So, I mean, he didn't even finish the bomb they gave him, Jesse Butler. So that was a bad look, I think. But yeah, I mean, the way I see this fight playing out is I play Matsumoto against Argueta. And let's be honest, he was about to be down 2-0 on the cards, which is not a good look. And Katona with the wrestling grappling game plan, I think he's better grappler than Argueta. But Argueta is just more relentless with the takedowns, and he's potentially stronger too. But I think that Katona can have wrestling success here. He can get some takedowns. But I think Matsumoto's the better striker. I like his game on the feet a lot. I think his leg kicks are money. He has a lot of tools, some power. Both of them have as elite cardio also. So yeah, I think it's going to be a scrap. I know people are probably not looking forward to this one, but I think Matsumoto has some real upside in the division. He's good. I think he's going to be 16-0 after this, and he's only 25. So yeah, the guy has some grappling. He's sneaky with the sub. He's a very good striker. He's durable. He has good cardio. So I think he can go on a run potentially, but he's getting the Brad Katona test here, and I don't think it's going to be easy because I think it's going to go the distance, and I think Katona is crafty enough to get takedowns and smart enough to make it very competitive. And I think it's going to be like a 29-28 decision. Matsumoto probably gets it, but minus EV win. You know what I mean? I think Katona's live to sneak a close decision. Katona by split decision is like plus 650 or something. It's not terrible. His straight decision prop is not good. I would just play the money line compared to the two. Matsumoto decision is not great, The over is decent. Yeah, I like. I think Matsumoto win here, but I wouldn't lay the price on him. Think he wins a close decision, and Katona's live to get it done for sure.
So I have the bet for you guys. The absolute best bet you can make on this, probably the card. I think the whole card. And that bet is Brad Katona plus 3.5. It's plus odds, plus 100. Sure, it's not this big, great, plus 125 or whatever you want. But all that means is Brad Katona has to win one round. Brad Katona's not getting finished. We watched this guy, Gene, drop rounds to Dan Argueta and on his way to lose that fight. And I think that Brad Katona is just a lot smarter than Argueta, has the better striking than Argueta, and also now he's implementing more of a wrestling game plan. I could see Brad might win this fight. He might win this fight outright. This is a tough test for Gene. We'll see if he's ready for it. I think the UFC wants Brad dead, but I'm not sure if Gene's going to be the one to do it, to be completely honest. Plus 3.5. I don't know how it dropped plus odds. Doesn't make any sense to me because I don't really see there's too much of a finishing upside from Gene Matsumoto. So yeah, Brad Katona plus 3.5, best bet from me. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, it's probably gonna end up being a pass fight for me. I'm not really sure. Matsumoto has to pass this test to show that he's really a real prospect here. I still think that there's some wrestling issues, as we saw last time out against Argueta. Katona's gonna wrestle. He fights smart. He coaches coaches a lot of guys and women from SBG Ireland. As we've seen, he's going to fight to a game plan. He's going to have a good game plan coming in. Is it nasty work to not finish Jesse Butler? Yeah, but at the same time, I think that Butler did a good job of making sure that Brad wasn't able to get off any real ground and pound or lock in the sub. Just out there surviving. It's kind of hard to finish a guy that's just out there surviving. Pause. I think that Matsumoto's has the upside to look like a wide favorite here, but like Drav mentioned, this is probably going to be a minus EV win. I think that it's going to get close and hairy. And Matsumoto, I know Argueta drags everybody into deep waters like that, but I really would have liked to see what that round 3 would have looked like truly, because Matsumoto is starting to make bad decisions. Wasn't putting together combos well. This will be an interesting fight. I don't want anything to do with it just because was it now plus 200 flat?
Yeah.
At that price, I would like some sort of finishing upside, and I don't think that Brad has really much finishing upside at all. So
No, it
you're
doesn't.
really, so you're betting on a very, very, very close decision. And so at that's not, I'm not looking to back that at plus 200 flat. If this got to like plus 300 or something, like, yeah, that makes more sense. But at these odds, I'm willing to pass.
Plus 300, I would bet Katona, no doubt. No, but
Yeah.
I would need a better price to bet him too. But I can understand why people are doing it, just because it's going to be a decision. It's going to be close. He has wrestling upside, so I think Peg is going to cash the plus 3.5. I think he win at least a round, if not the fight. So not a bad way to play it for sure.
Definitely. All right. Next fight is another really good fight. It's Matus Nicolau versus Asu Almabayev. Matus Nicolau is 19-4-1. He's 31-5-6 of the 66-inch reach. Asu Almabayev is 20-2. He's from Kazakhstan. He's 30. He's 5'4" with a 65-inch reach. He's actually training out of, it says this Kazakhstan team. He's actually out of Killcliff now. But odds in this fight, Nicolau is plus 150 to plus 160. Asu is minus 180 to minus 190. Jav, I'll let you go first here. Matus Nicolau, his stock is on the way down. Asu's stock is on the way up. This is the first time I'm going to talk about it. I'll talk about this same concept one more time. How do you think this fight goes? Asu grapples and wins, or Matus Nicolau gets his grappling going and shows his levels here? It's Asu's first big test in the UFC.
Yeah, I thought I would like Nicolau at first before taping it. because, step up in competition, seems to be the better striker, good takedown defense on paper. So I thought I would like Nicolau quite a bit despite the KO loss back-to-back. But after looking more into it, it's like, yes, he does have very good takedown defense, and he's doing the right thing, putting the heads down, fighting the hands, everything. Like you like to see that. He's a BJJ black belt, but he never fought a relentless wrestler that's going to try to grapple him and to wrestle him like Asu does. And the way I saw the way he was defending takedown, Tim Elliott went like 1 for 10, but he was not like relentless and chain wrestling to get him down. He was striking, then a takedown, he doesn't get it. Okay, fine. The difference is, as to if he doesn't get it, he's gonna shoot back, and the way he shoot and he grabbed a single leg and he just rotate, I think his wrestling is very, very high level, to be honest. And also the difference is, I think his top game is elite. I really like his top game. And Nicolau, if you watch back the Vurak fight, I think he got taken down or he fell down in that fight, but he ended up on his back, I think, end of round 2 or end of round 3. And for the last minute or so, he didn't try to get back up. He just accept the bottom position. I didn't like it. And yeah, I think after looking more into it, I'm pretty confident that Asu is going to get him down, which was not the case before going into tape. I think Asu is a strong guy. I think that he's going to shoot a lot of takedowns, and he's going to push a pace on Nicolau. And then also I thought that Nicolau would smoke him on the feet. I don't think it's the case anymore. He's the better striker. I like his leg kicks. I like his left hook. I like his counter strike. He's pretty good at what he does. But the problem is low volume and he's very thin margin. He's not going to separate pretty much against anyone unless it's Martinez just knocks him out. But like, even if he wins the fight, I think it's going to be I don't think he finished. And I think it's going to be a very, very close 29-28 type decision. That's how I see him winning. But I think Asu has some like dominant grappling upside. If he get on top, I think that on the feet, not saying he's going to knock Nicolau out, but if anyone hurts someone, I think Asu's live to hurt him, which again, I didn't think it was the case before. He only have 3 KO on his resume. But go back and look the CJ Vergara fight. When they break the clinch, he hit him with a clean knee right in the face. CJ was kind of wobbled there. He hit Nicolau with the same shot. I think he drops him or he hurts him. And Nicolau also momentum, career trajectory, back-to-back knockout loss at flyweight, got killed multiple times already. Asu, the new prospect, how the momentum, career trajectory is on his side. All things that's matter in MMA. So I think you have Nicolau that's going to go out there trying to make kind of a comeback, and it's possible he wins, but is he going to trust his striking? Is he going to be worried about getting hit too hard? And Asu, for what it's worth, the striking is not the best, but he make it work, He's not like a super good striker, but he swing, he has decent leg kicks himself, good head kick and spinning back head kick, spinning well kick, I mean. He hit, like, I think Ode and someone else with that. Again, that's a shot where he could clip Nicolau and hurt him. So I think that even if they fight on the feet, you're going to have Nicolau who's going to be on the back foot. That's also in the small cage, which favor Asu. And you're going to have Asu being the one pressuring, land a big shot, and then go for takedowns. And when you have someone on defense like that, on the back foot, trying to just defense mode, sometimes they open up the striking of the other guy, which that's why I think Asu is going to have striking success, even if Nicolau is the better striker. And I think that he can take him down. And when he does, I think that's potentially the round. Or if Nicolau get back up, I think that he could go right back down. And Asu body triangle is pretty good. Like I said, his top game is pretty good. His sub game is good. Nicolau is better per BJJ. He's a black belt. But I don't really think he's going to submit him here. And like I said, I don't really think he's going to separate. If he wins, it's going to be very close. But I think Asu can win like a 30-27. I think that he has more finishing upside. So I think he's the side here. I wouldn't make him, around 70%, minus 230-ish. I think it makes sense. Maybe minus 200. But yeah, I think that he's going to get it done. I think he's a real prospect.
Yeah, I agree here with Job. Other things too, Matus Nicolau doesn't really do well when he's being constantly pressured. Asu is all gas, no brakes. Going to be in his face the whole time, whether it's being up in the clinch against the fence, shooting for takedowns, chain grappling, all things of that sort. One area where I'll give it to Nicolau where this could become an issue is you see Asu all the time You saw against Vergara. You see it in a lot of some of his fights. If he gets that back take, he's not always pushing for a finish or, making advancements. He kind of just gets the backpack and sits there. If that's the case, judges haven't been too big of a fan of that as of late. Other than that, I think wrestling upside. His striking's pretty good. I would probably rate Nicolau striking a little bit better, probably from a power standpoint. But coming from he kind of just has more of a boxing style of striking. And if you go look at his tapes back when he fought in M1, you'll see that's where he gets that Russian striking from. It's from that scene. But I don't know. I think Asu's the side here. I think he's on his way up. I think he's got the grappling prowess to both not get submitted and also top time Nicolau. And I think that's kind of how you're going to have to win this fight. Finish, I don't find it as likely, but I think anything's possible because we just don't know the status of Nicolau's chin just yet. Key, what do you got here?
Yeah, I was on Nicolau early here. I know Fight Odds, I believe their opener says plus 275, but the real opener was actually plus 375. I stared it in his eyes while odds were dropping. I wasn't able to grab plus 375, but then plus 75 through plus 200 sat for hours. So I touched that for Nicolau. Asu, I think his wrestling is very legit. I think it's good. It's not like he's going to be able to pressure the whole time, if I'm being honest. In round 3, he was the one that was getting pressured by CJ Vergara. CJ Vergara just has absolutely no clue what he's doing in takedown defense department. Yeah, Peg, mute your mic.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, I think that Nicolau has power. He's a legit black belt on the ground. This isn't going to be something that Asu is just able to steamroll him. If Asu is the real fucking deal, but I don't think that this is a very good matchup for him. Nicolau has power. He has good counter striking. Would I like for him to up the pace? Yeah. But at the same time, that controlled measure pace is probably going to lead to him being able to defend shots easier. And so for that reason, I think that he's going to be able to defend enough shots to either look really good rounds 2 and 3 or even find the finish potentially. Asu, it's not like Asu is Matt Schnell's chin or anything, but Nicolau has real pop and power, and he places his shots really well. Almabayev, I do rate his wrestling, but on the feet, I mean, we're talking just big overhands. I disagree strongly with Peg saying that Nicolau's slightly the better striker. I think that he's the better striker by miles. Asu has decent pressure, but that's due to the wrestling threat. And it's just big overhands. I mean, will he throw other shit? Yeah. But for the most part, we're just talking about big overhands. And I think that that's going to easily be seen on tape, one. And then in the fight, I think that Nicolau has a pretty good fight IQ. I do worry Asu getting on top and finding a takedown so consistently. But I do think that there's a situation where Nicolau will show urgency to get up. If he doesn't, he's the biggest idiot on earth. But he's going to show urgency to get up. He's going to force Asu to work. I don't think that Asu's process on the feet is good. And I think that he's chain wrestling and looking good versus guys that, Jose Johnson, known as one of the worst grapplers in the UFC. CJ Vergara gets taken down by Peg. Ode Osborne gets taken down by Peg. So it's not like he's out wrestling like elite guys. There's a big step up in competition. His first step up in a small cage, and while that does benefit him for some grappling scenarios, in rounds 2 and 3, you're in a smaller cage and you're gasping for air, looking for some space. And I don't think that Nicolau's going to be able to. I don't think Nicolau's going to give him a shit ton of space in round 2, round 3. So for that reason, I was open to taking the big dog shot. I can understand an Asu play once you start talking minus 150 and below. And I know it hasn't gone there, but I think that minus 160 even is decent. But I think that, and like you said, Nicolau's margins are somewhat thin. But this is just a prove it fight for Asu, in my opinion. And I'm not willing to pay minus 185 right now. And I was gladly willing to get down on plus 275 through plus 200. And that's what Dub Club members got, and that's what's tracked. So I'm happy with the price I got. And I'm actually weirdly excited. This is one of the fights on this card that I'm weirdly excited to see, just because there's going to be a lot of questions answered about Asu, I think.
I mean, plus 275, he dies at that point, Like, it's just one of those spots where that's crazy value. So congrats on doing that. Next fight we got is another old man bout. Darren Elkins versus Daniel Pineda. Darren Elkins, 45-10 with a 71-inch reach. Daniel Pineda, 28-16, 39-5-7, 69-inch reach. Right now, the odds in these two gentlemen are Elkins. It's a pick 'em. Minus 115 a piece. I guess you get Elkins plus 105 some places and not in others. I'll go first here. Let me just adjust that screen. It's bothering me. Yeah, I'll go first here. I'm playing Darren Elkins. I like Darren Elkins. I like him at plus odds, plus 105. I haven't played it yet just because I want to see if money comes in on Pineda. This is also one of those spots where, like, you can kind of watch the fight, see how it goes, bet it later, because Daniel Pineda really is round one or bust. Round one, early round two or bust. He's really just trying to kill you. He's got a sick guillotine. He's got good power, like everything about him. He's just trying to get you out of there in round one, because after that, he has a heart attack and he dies. Kind of looks like Pete Davidson in that photo, but Spanish, honestly, which is kind of funny. But Darren Elkins is this guy's nightmare. Darren Elkins gets in your face. He's going to push a pace with wrestling. He's going to shoot 15 takedowns. He has the jiu-jitsu to compete with Pineda on the ground. Pineda is obviously a decorated black belt, but Darren Elkins also has pretty good jiu-jitsu. We've seen him get finishes. His sub defense is pretty good off of sloppy takedowns, the way he reverses his guillotines or gets himself out of guillotines. Striking wise, I don't really give Elkin much credit in striking. It's good, but even though he can strike, his striking defense is horrible. He's there to get hit. He gets hit constantly. He takes a lot of damage. I'm surprised his picture doesn't have damage tattooed across his chest, but he has that now. He takes a lot of damage. He deals a lot of damage. I just think, like, anywhere after round one, Darren Elkins ain't going anywhere. He's pushing that pace, and it only gets harder and harder. I think he'll be able to break Daniel Pineda, and Daniel Pineda either has to get that guillotine or he has to knock out Darren Elkins early, because after round one, it's going to be all Darren Elkins. The books are probably keen of that, so they're going to not really give you a great line on Darren Elkins after round one. That's why I was kind of thinking, you wait live, let Daniel Pineda win round one, then you play Elkins and let him crush round two, round three, possibly find a finish. It's possible. But, yeah, I think if he does, it's probably against like a quitting Pineda. But, yeah, I like Darren Elkins here. I think Darren Elkins is the side. That's the guy who I'd play here. What are you thinking, Key?
Yeah, I think fuck Nathaniel Wood for not finishing this guy in round two, round three. I'm still sick over that shit. Pineda isn't his age. He doesn't fight like a 39-year-old. I know that he does a lot of work with Josh Mann and those guys in H-Town. And I guess some of that has rubbed off on him through the years. Because his boxing's still clean. He's still got a lot of pop in his hands. It's just, I don't think that he'll ever put together 15 minutes of real work in his whole career. Elkins, though, at some point this shit has got to end, but it's hard to just say that you're going to get down and it's going to end here.
Not today.
Yeah, because, this guy just, any war he's down for. If you want to wrestle for 15 minutes, he's down for it. Like, he's just as game as they come. And I think that we're going to see Elkins melt him around two, round three, potentially. But I just can't bring myself to bet on this fight. Elkins this could be the fight where it's just the chin is finally and the brain is ready to shut down. And at the same time, Pineda and Elkins take so long to get going that you just don't know. TJ Brown losing this fight and getting cut is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, there's a past fight for me, but I will say it's probably one of the better fights on the card.
Yep. Draw, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll just say I hate when everybody's on the underdog. Everybody love him. At the end of the day, he's 40 years old and he's washed. Let's not forget, 2 fights ago, this guy was not like everybody was like he should not be in the cage. You know, and not now everybody love him. Everybody's back on the train. Everybody want to play him, and he's now the favorite. Like, what are we doing here? You know, I understand why I dog money. I understand why because of the cardio and the but you're I just man, I don't know what's going on here. To be honest, I have some interest in Elkin now. He did break TJ Brown, but bro,
Downtown TJ Brown got broken by the old man.
You know, TJ Brown is not Daniel Pineda is no TJ Brown. Let me say that first thing and foremost. And he's dangerous as fuck, man. Like, and look at the guys that Pineda has been facing in his last 2 fights, Wood and Ceres. And he was competitive with them. Like you said, his boxing still look good. He still have power. And he has round 2 finishes before. Everybody's saying that he's round 1 or bust. I think he has like 7-8 minutes to, he's gonna gas out in round 3 if he doesn't finish. But what a Elkins win look like? Almost dying round 1.
War.
Needs to come back. Needs to get in the war at 40 years old and finish round 2, 3 or win a decision. But you're paying chalk for that now. Like, what are we doing? Just I don't agree with it. So I didn't want to bet Pineda at chalk. That's for sure. Now he's getting 2+ money, so I'll keep my eyes on that. I think that he's very likely to crack Elkins bad early. And I've seen Pineda dig deep against Caceres and even Woods. And he had moments against them. Competitive fights. And now he's facing another old man, a guy that is older than him. And I think is more washed than him. I think Pineda still have a couple fights in him, and he's super dangerous early. Is Elkins, after all this damage, going to be able to take it? Look at the Cub Swanson fight, and everybody after a Pierce fight saying that this guy should not be fighting anymore. And now everybody love him. Everybody back on the train, and they make him everybody bet him that he's a favorite now. The underdog of the week, Darren Elkins. Let's see how it plays out, but I think Pineda is going to win.
I also think he's taking more time in between his fights. I think that's important to mention also because he took a lot of damage in his career, but he's kind of slowing himself off the damage that he is taking.
He's 40 years old, bro. It doesn't matter.
I think what also matters too is how quickly he can get his wrestling going. The quicker he gets that wrestling going, the quicker Daniel Pineda gets tired. So I think that's what it comes down to. If he can't get it going till late, if you give Pineda round 1, round 2, you may not finish Pineda, right? Just like we said about Nathaniel Wood, like there's a possibility he wins that. So he's got to get this game going. He's got to get it going quick. Plus odds, yeah, pay to find out. Other than that, definitely not. Look for a live line after round 1. Next fight, Jake Hadley versus a late subbed in Cameron Smotherman, the baby-faced killer. Right now, Jake Hadley is 11-3. He's 28, 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. Cam Smotherman is 11-4, 27, 5'9" with a 69-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, I don't think it's out yet. Drav, do you know? Did they drop a line for this fight
No,
yet?
they didn't yet.
All right,
But
so
he's going to be minus 2.
Whoa! Don't say anything yet. I didn't hear that. What do we think we're gonna line this fight, Key? What do you think you're gonna line it? We're gonna go around and guess what we'd line this.
I think Hadley minus 250, minus 300.
Okay, I was gonna say Hadley minus 200. Drav, what do you got?
Yeah, I just said it for you first because I'm sure you don't know Cameron. But yeah, I think minus 225, minus 230 at least, probably where it's gonna open.
Okay. All right, so you know better. Break it down for me then. Tell me about this guy Cameron.
I didn't take the fight back, and I'm probably not going to, just because I'm not gonna bet Hadley at the big price. Maybe if the line's closed, I'll tape it for sure because I'm gonna have interest in Hadley. Smotherman, he's a good fighter. I don't think he's bad. He's a good striker. He does the right thing. He's technical, decent wrestling. He's young. He's only 27. And he has a good build for the division. The problem is he doesn't have a good chin. I've seen him get dropped in many fights. Even if you go way back, like early in his career, he still managed to win some of these fights, but he's getting dropped in a lot of these fights. Okay, so that's the problem. And he went on our contender series. I bet the under there, and he got knocked out. So Jake Hadley is not like a big power guy, but he does have some speed and he has some power, and he's very good in the boxing. He goes to the body. So I think that he could drop Cameron. I think it's possible. And I'm not sure that Cameron's going to try to wrestle AV here. I don't really think it's going to happen. So I do think it's going to be a good matchup for Hadley, where he has the better BJJ. The striking's probably close, but I think that he's more durable. And Hadley's the guy on the full camp here. Cameron's on only a week notice. But, he's around good guys. He's you guys know reference stats, and the PFL, right? He's one of these guys. He's been around this kid since he was very young, always been there for him. So I thought that in the UFC debut, he had some promise. If he had a good chin, I think that he had a good career ahead of him. But I think that he could look good and then boom, get dropped. That's the problem. But even when he wins or when he doesn't get dropped, he tends to fight close. That's also the problem. So I think Hadley's going to win it, being the one on the full camp, fought the better guys. And I like Hadley better at 135, even if he missed weight last time out. But let's not forget, it was, upper weight class. Yes, that's his new weight class, it looked like. But he was on very short notice when he took that fight. And I think that he looked way better upper weight class. Takedown defense looked better too. I was surprised. So, yeah, man, I think that Hadley's going to win. But it's all depend on the price. If Hadley's like, I don't know, minus 150, yeah, sure, I'm going to tape it. I'm going to see, what it is. But I think he's going to be in the minus 250 range probably. And if he's a minus 400, minus 500, I'll always be down to fade Hadley at these type of prices. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't got much to say. I had Jake Hadley by or inside the distance decision, no bet. That was my bet for Brady. I probably, like Drav said, comes down to prices and spreads. I'll see what they come out when they drop for this fight, but without prices, I'm not really interested in even touching this anymore. What do you got, Kay?
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what we get line-wise. Smotherman's cool, but I don't rate him very highly. Been bonked a number of times. On regionals, Dana White Contender Series, everybody knows he lost to the GOATs, Sherlampos, Gregorio. So this is I get it. They just needed a short notice replacement. He's having to fly all the way back from Saudi Arabia. I believe he was going to corner Rafael Stotts. This is a nightmare situation.
Yeah, that's true, by the way. I saw this too.
Yeah, so nightmare situation. All that travel. He's not a big guy, so I assume he makes weight decent. And he does have everybody has a puncher's chance, but he does have real pop in his hands. But weird. I don't think he has very good striking defense. Chin is super sus. Hadley has grappling upside. I think the Hadley has him covered about everywhere. Hadley's shown a decent chin over the years. I don't really see, and I think that this is the weight class he should be at. And I know he was on short notice, but it is funny to miss 135 after being a flyweight for that long. It makes me wonder, what the fuck was he walking around at flyweight? Like, that had to be a disgusting cut.
Yeah, I heard it was like 160 or some shit.
Yeah, that's brutal. Yeah, so this is definitely the weight class for him. I think that he can build into this weight class, and I think that he's actually like gonna be decent. People were very high on Hadley before he came over, and Cage Warriors scene, he was killing people. And I don't think he's great, but the guy is pretty solid, and I think the more and more that he shows higher IQ and chooses to not play off of his back, the more and more that we'll see him sort of rise through the UFC. And I'm not saying he's a top 15, top 10 guy very soon, but he's a guy that'll build a very solid career in the UFC, in my opinion.
I'd agree with that sentiment. All right, next fight: Sumudaerji versus Charles Energy Johnson. Sumudaerji is 16-6, all 6 losses by sub, 28, 5'8" with 72-inch reach. Charles Energy Johnson, 16-6, 33, 5'9", 70-inch reach. We know how active this guy Johnson's being. Sumudaerji, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. We're seeing massive flaws across the board from his grappling. We're seeing big flaws in his cardio. The last 2 fights that he fought, right? It was Tim Elliott, and Tim Elliott just broke him with wrestling, then subbed him. Before that, it was someone else who subbed him, but it was late. Matt Schnell. That was a war. You want to watch a good fight, a fun fight to go back and watch? Go watch that one. It's a total war. Eventually gets broken. Matt Schnell locks in the triangle, finishes him. Sumudaerji is a really good striker. He's like a sniper. They call him the Tibetan Eagle. He's got long jabs, long punches, good power. He's just a really good striker. Other than that, his grappling not good. His cardio not good. Charles Johnson, jack of all trades, kind of can do it all. Like, we're watching this guy. He's able to strike pretty well. He can grapple to an extent. He can defend takedowns. He can wrestle. He's got great cardio. My only issue with him is he starts slow. It takes him a little bit to get going. Once he makes his reads, then he really starts cooking. I think that could look similar here. Honestly, minus 200 favorite. I was looking into parlaying Charles Johnson at one point. Only thing that worries me is at times you go back in his tapes, both in his when he was in, I think, LFA, and sometimes in the UFC, you could see like sometimes he gets hit and he gets rocked a little bit. I'm not saying he's getting like dropped and destroyed, but he's showing he's got like he can get a little chinny at times. And from a guy who's going to throw long shots from southpaw like Sumudaerji, could cause a big issue here. So I don't know. I kind of was thinking, we've seen this guy lose 6 times by sub. We know Charles Johnson, I don't want to misspeak, but has he ever gotten a sub win before? He
got a couple, bro.
So, hey, is he going to go out here and sub? Maybe. Plus 400 to find out. But, looking at it from that extent, I think that Charles Johnson's the side here as long as you can count on his chin. If he makes it anywhere near the ground, I don't know what I'm doing here. If he makes it anywhere near the ground, I don't think he has an issue. I just fucked all this up. But yeah, what do you think, Joff?
Key, you can go. I'll go last.
All right, Key, you go.
Yeah, I think that the obvious game plan has to be to grapple here. Sue is shown to be, just super, super white belt status on the ground. He's getting subbed by everybody, literally. All of his losses being by sub. One thing that people aren't really talking about, I know Sue, I believe, fought the Matt Schnell fight with a torn ACL and some knee issues.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, comes back. Tim Elliott gets rolled up. From what it looks like, he's still wearing these knee braces in training consistently. I'm not sure that his knee ever fully healed. I'm not sure if he had surgery. I'm not sure if he truly opted to get surgery or what's going on there. As somebody who's dealt with a shit ton of knee injuries during my playing career, that shit's just, I can only imagine what that shit is like in fighting. I'm not really sure what's the game plan here. I don't think that he's going to be able to stop the pressure and volume of Charles Johnson. I will say Sue is a sniper and he's going to find shots at range, but everything has to be on his terms. He's a front runner in my opinion. The Matt Schnell loss, that was an insane war, but he's just shown throughout his whole career that he's a big time front runner. I think that Johnson could potentially drop the first round like he normally does, even though he came out a little faster against Josh Van last time. But I think there is potential for him to drop the first round, and for that reason, and Johnson's been dropped before, literally dropped. And for that reason, I'm not looking to sit here and parlay minus 225. But I will say I do think he gets it done. I think we could be seeing another finish. I think that Charles Johnson is going to continue to look better through this UFC run. I think that he's a top 15 guy in the UFC. I think that he's a guy. I know he's been talking shit on Twitter and saying that he's more suited for 5 rounds. And I think that he is. I think that he's a guy that builds into fights well. I think he has a high IQ. I'm excited for his future. If there's any time to make a run, it's now. He's 33. He has to make shit shake right now. But I don't love this matchup on the feet. But if he can get it down to the ground, he has a chance to look minus 600. So I think that for sure has to be part of the game plan. I know he's done some work at Fusion XL, which I don't necessarily love. But I just have to assume that he's going to grapple here. So Charles Johnson by finish, I think is the way to go here. I don't necessarily love these prices, but we'll see what we get on FanDuel and some of these other books.
Jeff, what do you got?
Come on, Big. What was that?
That was a yawn. What do you got going on?
Look, man. What are you
I
doing?
didn't have any coffee today. I'm tired.
Okay, that's why. We understand now. Yeah. This fight's funny to me. When I played Charles Johnson against Judge Van last fight, people were telling me I was stupid because Judge Van would cook him. Judge Van was the next big thing, and he would win easily. I was stupid for betting Charles Johnson at plus money there. Even against Jake Hadley, people told me that Hadley's gonna win easily. Hadley was a favorite. People were playing Hadley, and now he's minus 200, and people are parlaying him like crazy. And all the same people that I saw parlaying Charles Johnson were playing Judge Van the last fight. And now everybody want to play him at minus 2xx. Let me tell you something, man. I mean, Stu's a better striker than Johnson. I don't know if you guys watched a lot of tapes on it, but I mean, I don't think it's very close early. I think he's going to piece him up badly. This guy's striking is super legit. His leg kicks are nasty, and we've seen Johnson struggle with leg kicks a lot in his career. And the guy is super fast, and he has power for the division. And I mean, his movement, side to side, in and out movement, very hard to deal with, and he's very hard to hit, And the problem also is his straight left hand down the pipe when he's a southpaw is nasty. And I've seen Johnson drop. I've seen Johnson hurt before many times, like you guys mentioned. And I've seen Johnson getting his leg beat up. I've seen Johnson lose round 1, like that's his job. And yeah, he's good as the fight goes on. He builds into fight and shit. That's cool. That's cool at plus odds. I'm down for that. But at minus 2xx against a better striker, against a guy that can match his 8 and is striking and is faster and more powerful than him, you better wrestle, boy. And I've listened to Su's interview, and he's like, yeah, this guy's gonna shoot takedowns on me. He's not he's not gonna try to strike with me and stuff like that. And I saw some tweets on Johnson. He's like, someone said that you could grapple easily here and some shit like that. That Stu, he needs to be careful because Stu's a dangerous striker. And he goes like, oh, Judge Van too was dangerous. So was Judge Van. So this guy's cocky, man. This guy is good. He's good. Don't get me wrong. I know you listen to interviews and shit, and I made money on him. So props to him. I like the way he fights and everything. He has good cardio. He's a tough guy. But he's the type of guy that I want my money on at plus odds, not at minus 200. Why? Because he loses round 1 at a high clip, because he needs to come back in some of these fights. And now we're counting on him to grapple here. Is he going to grapple? And Stu ground game, yeah, it's bad. It's not great, okay? His sub defense is a problem. His get-up's not very good, but his takedown defense is pretty solid, man. If you look at it, is the way he's fighting takedown is very fucking good. And I don't think Johnson wrestling is all that good. If he try to wrestle early and often, I think he's going to get him down and potentially submit him. But if he doesn't, I think he's in deep shit, man. I really do. And like I said, even if he try to wrestle, if you shoot 1 or 2 takedowns, I think he's gonna need to try more than that. And Sue footwork, in and out movement, side to side, it's gonna be hard, to get takedowns. And Johnson's usually, like you said, man, he's a sniper. This guy, he's a sniper, and Johnson is right there to get sniped, man. Sometimes he's cocky, ends down, and he can get hurt. We've seen it. He can get dropped. He can get his leg beat up, and that's exactly what this guy's gonna do. So he's faced even Oldie Osborne was like, a similar style and Sue in the striking, but I rate Sue striking higher. Osborne was destroying his legs early. He was having a ton of success. Johnson decided to wrestle there, and he went like 1 for 3 on takedowns against Oldie Osborne. Like he mentioned earlier in the stream, not a good defensive wrestler. And Oldie Osborne was the one landing takedowns in round 3 in that fight. So, yeah. And Sue's at alpha male. He took a lot of time off. And, maybe he came back too quick after all the knees injury because, he had a shit ton of injuries now, but it's been 2 years. Think that now it's going to maybe look better, but we don't really know. And at the end of the day, the guy is 28 years old. Johnson's 33. They're both 16 and 6. Maybe Johnson grapple and you submit him. If he does, props to him. I think Johnson sub 2, Johnson sub 3 is the way to play him. But everybody is going to have Johnson in the parlay this week at minus 200, minus 250. And I don't know how you can get there, but I hope it continues because I'm just watching the line in the moment and I think Sue's going to get it done, to be honest. I think he could drop him early. I think he can beat up his legs. I think he could win a decision. And I think he's going to knock down Johnson at some point if Johnson doesn't wrestle. He's probably not going to knock him out, Johnson's super durable, but he's going to hurt him at some point. We'll see where we go from there.
So if you like him, right, and you assume that he's going to drop around like he always does, he always drops the first round. What is the prop for Sumudaerji plus 3.5?
It's minus 145. It's not good enough for me.
I'm surprised it's so wide when he's a pretty wide favorite himself.
I mean, because he's going to win a round if they go to distance. If they go to distance, Johnson is not winning 30-27.
No.
That's not happening.
That's fair.
And yeah, he could grapple. Like I said, he does time takedowns well sometimes, but that's not really his game. And he's a cocky fighter. Is he really going to do it? He's just not a guy I can trust at minus 2xx to do so. And yeah, it's going to be funny. People are going to be surprised after this fight. And I'm telling you, the same people are playing Johnson now at minus 200. They were playing Josh Van at minus 175 against him the last fight. So I just think it's funny how the market move, and that's where you're going to pay attention. And how they say it, you buy high and you sell low, and Johnson plus 150, plus 160.
You buy low and you sell high.
Opposite. Yeah, the opposite. My bad. Yeah, so plus 140, plus 160. Versus Hadley versus Van. Yeah, man, no problem.
Yeah,
but
I like it. I like that.
Yeah. No, you don't. You like Johnson by sub. Don't change your
mind. I like the sound of that. Buy low, sell high. I love that. Love doing that. Next fight. Talk about buying low and selling high. Rob Font versus Kyler Phillips. Rob Font, 20-8, 37, 5'8", 71-inch reach. Kyler Phillips, 12-2, 29, 5'8", 72-inch reach out of MMA Lab. Odds on these two gentlemen. Kyler Phillips, minus 400. Rob Font, plus 325. Drav, how do you go first? I mean, at this point, everyone knows how to beat Rob Font. You get the takedown and you win. He's been taken down 11 times in his past 2 fights. He has got no answers for it. Kyler Phillips is a very good grappler. He's a very good wrestler. And he's really becoming a very good striker, too. I think this is a setup spot for him. We just talked about career trajectories. Rob Font's is way down. Kyler's is on the way up. I mean, this is a perfect spot to set up Kyler Phillips to get himself into a top 10, top 5 matchup. So, you think Kyler Phillips deserves minus 400?
Yes, I do.
I think he deserves 1,500 here.
Don't mush it, bro. Come on. I think that I think Rob Font's gonna enter the matrix here. I think he's gonna. I think he's due to get finished here, and maybe you can get dropped 3-4 times per fight and survive, and having a dumbass like Chito Vera watching you and be like, oh, when you drop him and shit like that. But, I think that at 37 years old at bantamweight, when you're getting hurt every fight, when you're getting dropped, and not only that, when you can't take damage as well anymore, he said it himself in the Yanez fight. He did decided to go broke to go, to go to war early and trying to get the KO because his orbital under the, like right there in the eyes, it's fucked up. When he gets hit too much, it's very bad. So I could see, Carter Phillips beating him up, Rob Font surviving, maybe a doctor stoppage. I can see, Carter Phillips standing takedowns easy, like you said, but he's a very good grappler. He could potentially submit him. And on the feet, Rob Font, very good boxer. I always love Rob Font. Jab is nasty, some power. He's nice, a lot of volume. But recently, it looked like his volume has diminished. Looked like his chin is not as good. Takedown defense is going down. It looked worse and worse. Takedown defense. So I think that Carter Phillips is inside one of the best gym in MMA, especially at bantamweight with MMA Lab. I think he's one of the best prospect in the division, to be honest. The guy in and out movement, the guy side to side movement, the guy just footwork in general, very, very good. And it's going to cause Rob Font issues. And I had some concerns about Philip cardio. It's not very good. He gas out sometime in round 3, but it looked very goddamn good against Pedro Munoz last fight out. And that was his test. That's why I say now that, minus 400 is justified, because he just proved me against Pedro Munoz that he can, hurt Pedro Munoz, which is almost impossible to finish too, beat him up, win 30-27, and look good in round 3 in that fight, So I think Carter Phillips going to either win all 3 rounds or finish Rob Font either by KO or sub. I'm not sure, because difference also is like if he hurt Rob Font, he could snatch his neck after he does. And I'm pretty sure he's going to hurt him at some point. Does Rob Font survive again? I'm not so sure. Against Aldo and Cheeto, I mean, he got hurt in almost every round. It can happen every fight and not get knocked out. You're 37 now. You took a lot of damage. And I think that's the Matrix time. And Rob Font's going to enter the Matrix on Saturday night.
Yeah, like I said, he's good to minus 1,500. I pretty much agree with you. Coming from an intangibles and a narrative standpoint, I think you're spot on when you're talking about Kyler Phillips finding a finish here. Because when you look at it, that's what you need when you want to break into the top 10, top 5, and get yourself a big fight. You got to get one of these guys who's in that higher echelon of ranks, and you got to finish them. When you make a finishing statement like that, you get to call out who you want to fight next. I think it's exactly what he's going to do here. I think he has multiple ways to do it. Rob Font's got decent sub defense, but Kyler Phillips is a big, long guy. I don't think he'd have a problem finding the sub here. Ground and pound's definitely live. I think he has multiple ways to finish him. I think Kyler can win this fight any way he wants, and I think he's going to prove that on Saturday night. I parlayed him at minus 225. I think he's still safe at minus 425, honestly, but you just got to figure out who you're going to parlay him with. But, like I said, I think he's good to minus 1,000, honestly. I think Kyler Phillips has got – this is Kyler Phillips' fight to lose. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, this is a Kyler Phillips spot. I played minus 225 DraftKings. At the time, it was minus 250 on Bet Online, too. This is a fight that I didn't think that the line would get this crazy, just because I thought that people would stay strong in their Rob Font fandom, but I think that this is true line. Kyler has all the grappling upside here. On the feet, I mean, he is just in space. He is special. The shit that he's doing. And I still have a little bit of questions about his cardio, but I don't think that here is going to get tested in a 3-rounder. I'd like to see him in a 5-rounder. But the Pedro fight was a real eye opener. I mean, he put it all together. Absolutely put it all together. And I think that here, Font, his face is blowing up. Drob mentioned the broken orbital earlier. Face is blowing up.
Hey, mute your mic, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
He's not taking damage the same way. It only takes one punch for him to lose a round at this point. I mean, the Figgy fight, same thing. And Figgy's a guy who, a few years back, Font is probably in my opinion, going to get that done. But Figgy is just way too powerful. It's not to say that Kyler is this strong puncher, but Kyler has a shit ton of tools, like just knees, elbows off the clinch, kicks.
Yeah, he's nasty, bro.
I mean, he's just complete offensively, absolutely complete striking. I think that the Yanez fight was just sort of a one-time thing. I think that if you match Yanez and Fawn up again, I think that you get a very close fight. Sandhagen was an absolutely terrible look. I mean, Sandhagen with one arm on top of that. We realized that Sandhagen tore his tricep super early in that fight. So one-arm Sandhagen looks like Khabib versus you, and I'm supposed to believe that Kyler Phillips doesn't get any takedowns here. I think there's a Kyler Phillips spot. I'm interested to see the matchmaking after here. It's about to be a little bit of a log jam up at bantamweight, and it's going to be interesting to see how they match some of these guys up. Bautista's also now, I believe, in the top 10. Phillips is coming in for that top 10 spot too. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do with all these guys here.
There's going to be a hog jam up at the bantamweight. I hear you, Key. I get what you're saying there. But I was just cracking up and laughing because the arrest video of Mike Perry came out, and it is exactly as you would have expected it going. And I was just cracking up at that. But let's go to our main event here. Main event, we have Michel Periera versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Michel Periera, 31-11. He's 31, 6'1", 73-inch reach. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, 12-2, 31, 6 feet tall, 75-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Fluffy anywhere from -135 to -145. You get Michel Periera anywhere from +105 to +122. Money is coming in on Periera. Job, you want to go first? You want me to go first? How do you want to do this for the main event?
Yeah, I can go first. I have posted a free bet on Periera here. I know it's most people I talk to and most people that I've seen on Twitter like Fluffy. And, I love Fluffy too. I bet him multiple times. I bet his round 2-3 finish multiple times. He made me good money. I think he's a cool dude. He's a nice fighter to back. I like him. The problem is, when he lost, if you go back in his career, the 2 times he lost, he got cut up and sub one time because he got hurt to the body, and then he got submitted, and he got hurt against Kevin Allen early with the knees and the clinch to the body. So the guy seems to be weak to the body. We've seen this 2 times already, but he did a better job in his last 2 fights. He took some shots and he was cocky about it, but he looks okay. But I'm just saying that he's someone that can get finished early. He's someone that can get, hurt the body. And Periera is just a madman at 185, dude. Like, you just look the guy, he's 9-2 in the UFC, between 170 and 185 pounds. And something that I've not heard anyone say yet, welterweight is a way harder division than middleweight. Like, the matchup is harder division. The more you go in weight, the easier the fights are, and not the easier the fight are, but the lower the level is, and that's why we've seen Periera go the distance multiple times at 170. Some competitive fight, he goes up a weight class and he smoked 3 guys, in round 1. Coincidence? I don't really think so. But the guy should be at 185. He was massive at 170. We talk about Alex Pereira, being at 185. That doesn't make sense. Michel Periera fighting at 170 didn't make sense at all. He's bigger than his middleweight, now. So I think it's better for him, for his cardio, for the weight cut. He probably had to kill himself to make 170 pounds, And here, I think that at 185, if the fight goes deep, it's going to help him that he doesn't have to cut the 15 pounds, join his cardio, his body, and everything. So he's someone that has cardio issues, no doubt, right? But I think his cardio issues are a bit overstated, I've seen him win 15 minutes fight. I've seen him look good in round 2. I've seen him slow down in round 3. But the way people are talking about it's like Michel Periera's first round or bust. Michel Periera has, 5-6 minutes of cardio. Well, that's just not true. Let's put no mistakes about it. The guy has at least 11 to 12 minutes of good cardio when he can hurt people. And also, he can hurt Fluffy, right? But he could also choke his ass in the club and sub or some shit. You know, the guy guillotine is nasty. He has a fucking deep squeeze. And yeah, so I just think that the guy is very dangerous early, and his tip kick, I don't know how to say this,
Teep kick.
yeah, to the body is nasty. Just the body kicks are in general, but also, man, the clinch game and the knees and the clinch, man, he go hard with it. And you know, we've seen Fluffy struggle with that. So I think Fluffy Pat is to come and survive an early storm and then take over as the fight goes on in round 3, 4, 5. Cool, but I'm not laying chalk. I'm not laying chalk for that. You know, why are you not betting Fluffy live after 2 rounds? You're gonna get plus money, and you're gonna, you know, save yourself from the storm of Periera. I think there's a good chance that Periera smoke him early in under 10 minutes. I think that's a bigger chance that happen than that there's a chance that Fluffy finish him late. If it goes late, round 4, 5, of course you got to favor Fluffy, but the damage that he's going to have take to get there is going to be massive. You're going to be sweating. And Periera has good takedown defense, but he didn't fight any like chain wrestler like that. So I think Fluffy, as the fight goes on, he's going to have wrestling success. But the problem is, I don't think he's going to be able to take Periera down when he's fresh. And if he's not able to, he's a good striker. He's good in the clinch too. But like Periera hit like a, you know, he hit like a truck. He goes to the body and he's going to go for the kill. And like I said, I think could also snatch his neck if Fluffy's not careful. And Shabazian had like a guillotine on him, you know, in round 1. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a Michel Periera spot. You're getting the plus money side on someone who's bigger than Fluffy, someone who's the better striker, who hit harder, who's super strong, who, you know, is going to win round 1 and 2 at a high clip or finish in round 1, 2 at a high clip. And then if you go the distance somehow, which I don't think it's going to happen, you're going to have probably Fluffy winning 4 and 5, Periera winning 1 and 2, and it's going to be up to round 3. There's a world where, you know, Periera win the decision if it goes there. But I favor Fluffy as the fight goes on. I just think that it's smarter to go with the live approach or to bet Fluffy round 3, 4, 5 if you like that side. But Periera's the plus money side, someone who could arguably be 11-0 in the UFC, you know, because one of his fights is a DQ that he was on his way to win. And the other fight's a fight where he lost, a fight where he did some backflip and some shit and he gassed himself out. He shouldn't be losing that fight. But these 2 fights, he's 11-0 at the UFC level, you know, and the guy's plus money here. So yeah, that's a big pro of me spots. But I think that Periera is a better fighter than both Kopylov and Shabazian. And we've seen both of these guys getting broken in fight before. Periera can be broken. I think that's possible, but I don't think it's going to be as easy. And I think that Fluffy is going to have to survive an early storm. So I think Periera is going to get it done, but it's going to be a very good fight. You know, it's you can like Fluffy. I just don't agree with you laying, you know, minus 150 on him. So I played Periera. I got plus 130 personally. I tracked plus 125. That's what my guys got. So yeah, man, I think that he's going to get it done personally. I think he's going to finish him under 10 minutes.
So I'm on the other side here. I played Fluffy. I honestly played him before I did any tapes, anything like that. I played him like a week or 2 in advance. I got him minus 140. I actually played him minus 140 on DraftKings when the fight was supposed to be 3 rounds on a different card. Then it got canceled. Now it's 5 rounds. Played it in advance pre-tape just because I knew the line was going to go up, and then I could make my decision from there. Obviously, that worked. It got all the way up to minus 175, and now it's come all the way back down, and now I'm in the point where I'm getting reversed by 5 cents. After tapes, looking at it that way, I still think Fluffy is the side here. I think Fluffy wins 3, 4, 5 at a very high clip. I think I'm okay with my ticket at minus 140 just because I'm confident in him winning. If you want to take like a more conservative, smart route, I think Drav is correct. I think you're better off waiting to the end of round 1, end of round 2 than hopping in. But I do think with what Drav said, he's kind of discrediting the fact that Anthony Hernandez can get the wrestling started early on Periera. You go back and look at some of Pereira's fights. He has never fought like a real true wrestler or grappler. Ponzinibbio, who's 40 years old when they fought, had 2 takedowns. Periera touts a 94% takedown. The 2 takedowns that Ponzinibbio was going to get were from the same position that Fluffy Hernandez gets them from, where he takes your back and then drags you to the mat. But Periera didn't get taken down because he grabbed the fence twice. Herb Dean yelled at him one of the times. So he's grabbing the fence to stay up on his feet, but that wouldn't be a 94 takedown defense. And I think if Ponzinibbio at 40 years old is getting you down, Anthony Hernandez with the same back take is getting you down. Do I think he's going to get him down in round one? No, I think it's going to look like most Fluffy fights where, Fluffy's probably going to take some damage. I think Fluffy, realistically, it's probably going to look more like the Shabazian or the Kopylov fight where, he takes some damage early, still trying to make his reads on the feet, trying to get the grappling going. It's a much more dangerous approach with a guy like Periera compared to Edmund and Kopylov, in my opinion, just because the body kicks of Periera are crazy strong. But I don't know. I think round 2 and on is where Hernandez really starts to put it together and gets the grappling going. I kind of agree slightly with Drav on the whole narrative of Periera being 1 round or bust. I think he's got a solid 2 rounds. I think maybe, I'd probably say about 2 rounds. And the 3rd round is where he really starts to show it. But like the whole narrative, the 1 round narrative isn't there for Periera. So hypothetically in a 5-round fight, I would give Fluffy Hernandez 3, 4, and 5. That kind of covers my price tag here. There is some slight chance for Michel Pereira, obviously, going to finish. That's Michel Pereira at the end of the day. But I think as Fluffy's gotten older in his career and in the UFC, I think he's shown that both his fight IQ and everything about him has improved. He's kind of protecting his body a little bit better as of late. So I think Fluffy's aside here at -140. Key, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm personally, I think that this is a great main event. And I think that it'll look a little bit different if we were in a big cage. Michelle's looked great since moving to 185. But I will say, doing a backflip after you knock down Ihor, then you get a guillotine, like still doing the backflip shit this far into your career just leads me to believe that there's no hope for you to ever like gain a real brain and like show IQ. That's just not, I don't care how you cut it. Like, that's just not smart shit. Like, it's not conserving your energy. And I would hope that he doesn't do that in a 5-rounder. But he's shown time and time again in his career that he just doesn't learn from his mistakes. This guy's an athletic freak. We all know. We all know that this guy's a real pop. Opportunistic subs. I mean, he does a lot. His last time in the small cage, outside the Petrosky quick finish, which I cashed off of, but outside the Petrosky quick finish, the last time he was in that small cage, he went to a split decision fight of the night with Ponzi, a washed up Ponzi at that. So you're talking about, you've been in a 3-round war, and I get it was at 170. We don't truly know what his cardio looks like at 185, but I'm going to just go ahead and lean to the side that it's not going to be great. Just because, again, he does dumb shit. If you weren't backflipping and wanting to jump off of cages and shit, maybe I'd be a little more confident in the fact that you could keep some sort of pace for 5 rounds. But if you're going to do that shit, now I'm definitely going to lean to the side that you're not going to have 5 rounds worth of cardio. I do think, like Drop said, in the first 10 minutes is going to be a little bit of hell for Hernandez to go through. And I honestly don't really get a Hernandez pre-bet. I know everybody wants to make their bet MMA look shiny and nice. But a pre-bet on Hernandez doesn't really make sense, saying that he's going to go through hell to some extent. But again, there's a lot of unknowns on the Periera side. Cardio, 1, but 2, we just haven't seen him against a guy who can really chain wrestle. And Hernandez is relentless. And at this point, it seems like Hernandez has truly like settled into this style of being a guy who's just going to absolutely melt you. I think that he's gotten better up in close range. I think that he understands that he's going to have to crowd the space. And I think that he's going to be able to crowd the space a lot easier due to the fact that they're in a small cage. I'm just not sure either side here, whoever wins, in hindsight, everybody's going to be like, oh, it should have been -500, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is going to be a hindsight favorite, big favorite type of deal, in my opinion. And I'm not sure that Pereira is going to have the success that he's having. I mean, think about the guys that he's cooking early. Ihor Potieria, Does anybody rate this guy highly? No.
I mean, for what it's worth, Periera is durable as fuck, man. He's hard to finish early. The only guys to
Oh, that wasn't the narrative a week ago when he was go. That wasn't the.
I said he would. I said he would get
early. He
finished.
just cracked early.
Wait.
Now all of a sudden he's
no.
super durable.
I said he would get finished late because of his cardio. I never said he would get finished early in that fight. The only guy to finish him early, except Michel Pereira, is Carlos Solberg. You've shown a great chin, and to be able to go late in fight, he gets finished because of his cardio. That's different.
So, anyways, yeah, I'm not rating Ihor in any way. Ihor's chin may be decent, cool. But I feel that's not a good win in my book. You're talking Ihor Periera, Mikhail Jacek, caught him in the body. Andre Petroski caught him. Not durable at all. Andre gets, if you hit him with your hip, he might go out cold. Fuck it. Yeah, so it's not like he's getting rid of elite guys early on. Hernandez has been soft to the body, and I think that is the path to early finish here. It has to come through body work, and if I'm Michel Pereira, I'm going super, super early to the kicks. The teeps to the body, as Drav mentioned earlier. The rear leg body kick is going to be there. I think you have to be here. Body kick. The problem,
and he does that. He does that against anybody. Like everybody.
The problem that comes with that is that Hernandez is potentially good at catching kicks and going to run the pipe, and that's going to lead to a lot of grappling situations. I'm not sure that Periera can stay calm for 25 minutes and handle the pace and pressure. And so for that reason, I'm passing on Periera pre. I think this is the only side that you can bet pre, in my opinion, because like I said, Hernandez pre just doesn't really make sense because I assume the Periera is going to give some sort of strong resistance in these first 2 rounds. But Hernandez, small cage, 5 rounds, he's going to wrestle. He's just not going to sit here and try to turn into a striker. I know what his game plan is going to be coming in. Pereira's low IQ. Could he nuke him in early rounds and look like a wide favorite? Yes, because he could do that to probably anyone on the planet. But I'm personally not cool at getting. I would need bigger odds. Plus 150 would feel a lot better. I think it's at plus 115 right now. Plus 150 would feel a lot better, but I know that that's not where it's going to go. I think that this probably closes close to a pick 'em. I think that we're going to get even more pre-bet money on Periera, but everybody's going to be loaded up waiting for the Hernandez live spot. So it'll be interesting to see how books adjust here. So I know Drav is Michel Pereira guy, I guess now, but I fear that 25 minutes of hell might be coming his way. So there's a pass fight for me, but man, I'm excited to see. I think that this is one of the better main events that we've gotten for Apex card in a while.
Yeah, and just to be clear, it's not because like I'm a Periera guy. I've been a fluffy guy like his last 3 fights. I just think that it's stupid to bet him pre at minus money when you can. Like I'm sure he's gonna either die in round 1 or lose the first round. I'm pretty sure in that. And then if he's minus money after that, be it. But we'll be surprised. I think you still have an option to edge the Periera bet if he's getting tired after 2 rounds, where you almost finish in 10 minutes. Or he won the 2 first round. I think Fluffy's going to be plus money. So if like he's getting tired, Fluffy's starting to taking over, I still have an option to edge if I want, to live bet Fluffy. But if you're betting Fluffy at minus money before the fight, all the danger, the 10 to 15 minutes of Periera, you need him to survive that and then take over. Just don't get why you're betting on someone at minus money that he needs to survive early and take over late. If that's the case, just bet round 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's just the way I see it. I bet Periera big against Nicolau Jacek, but I bet Fluffy 1, 2, 3 against Edmond, and I play the under against against Kopylov. I play round 2, 3 big, and I play the under against Edmond. So I've made a lot of money on both guys. I just think that the plus money side is the way to go here. Ken Periera does do some weird shit, get tired. Yes, that's possible, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be early. It's going to be as the fight goes on, and he's going to either finish or dominate early. That's the way I see it. And yeah, I just don't get how you playing someone to almost die and come back late at minus money. That's normally the type of spot you want plus money on.
Yeah. Well, that's the show, guys. Let's do our BTL parlay and get out of here we got 1 minute to do this. All right. My leg is going to be the damage, Darren Elkins, plus 105. What do you got, Trav?
I'll take Jocelyn Edward minus 260.
I should take Hernandez minus 135 just to piss Drive off some more. I'll say, fuck, this is nasty work.
Dude, take our girl Smelly Melly or whatever her name, Super Melly or whatever the fuck her
Melly,
name.
just Smelly Melly. Yeah,
well, she's Melissa, calling her Smelly Melly.
Melissa Martinez minus 120. Fuck it.
Let's go.
All right, so it gave plus 375.
Okay, plus 375. So it's Darren Elkins plus 105, Jocelyn Edwards minus 260, Melly Martinez.
No. Bro, Elkins minus 150, not plus 105.
Oh, okay. Even better.
Even worse, you mean? He's minus 115.
I thought he's plus 105. But all right, regardless. All right, minus 115 Elkins. We're playing Elkins at chalk. We're playing Edwards minus 260. We're playing Melly Martinez. What is she? Minus 120?
Yeah, just that. We're asking for trouble.
This is going to be a movie. I can't wait. We will be there no matter what. All right, guys. That's the show. I'm your host, Picks by Pegasus. If you join these guys' dub clubs and send them a screenshot of you being subscribed and BTL Parlay or BTL in that comment, you will get UFC 308. You will get this card. You will get UFC Edmonton, and you will get Carlos Prates versus actually, no, you won't. Maybe you will. Who knows? Pay that money to find out. That's how you cut a promo. Join their dub clubs. They got offers. They got everything. That's the show. We good? Happy with that? All right.
Yeah.
Carlos Prates by KO. Peace.